Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Edgewater, Saskatchewan. So, episode 12, I think this is now. I've just said good evening. Clearly, in the game, it's not evening. It's just gone past 9 in the morning. But I wasn't expecting to be recording tonight. I thought I'd leave it a day, maybe just see if I get many comments in relation to what to do. But it's kind of been incredible. I've had so many comments and suggestions, pretty unanimous really on what to do, which has made it pretty easy for me really, and I thought, why not? Got a bit of spare time tonight, let's get a episode recorded. So this, in theory, is going to be the big spend. Now, if you look in the top corner, you will notice the money has gone up a little bit more. So I've just literally spent probably about an hour of real lifetime fertilizing 2 contracts, and they paid pretty well actually, so I'll pause it and I'll show you. So this one came up. Man, did that take some time, but we did it. Wasn't too bad. The spreader we've got isn't that bad, so this was like £17,400 or something just to do that. It took a while, but it's kind of easy money in my eyes really, so I did do that. And I also went ahead and did a fertilizer contract on this one, number 13. And that wasn't too bad. I think that one alone, that was about 7,800, something like that. I didn't record because I wasn't intending to do any recordings tonight, so I can't tell you the exact figures, but 2 reasons that I've done it. So some suggestions through the comments was, why not make a tiny little bit more money off camera just while I was doing some decision making, and secondly, the decision was kind of unanimously stick with the silage for a little bit longer, which means we'd be investing money in the field. But I figured if I do a couple of contracts, that basically pays for a shed, because that realism side of my head does want to do something with this area here. So the contracts I've just done have pretty much paid for that, which means the progression in the series isn't going to slow down, because the money we made last episode is going to be spent on equipment and fields to continue to make even more money in the next few. So I think it works out okay. So yeah, so we're in March. I did the contracts in February. I didn't turn the time down, so by the time I did those contracts, it was dark. It was too late in the day to start recording, so I skipped it through to the morning of the next day. So we are in March. These fields pretty much look like they're good. I mean, it says ready to harvest. You can't really tell because of the snow if they're fully grown or whether they will go a little bit longer. But I do know from experience, sometimes cutting grass in the snow doesn't work out too well, and it does tend to disappear. You end up with piles of snow with no grass in it. So we're not going to be cutting that today for definite, but that's something that potentially that we can look into in the next couple of episodes. Now everything's pretty bare, because everything is left exactly where I finished the last episode. The only thing I did move was the tractor, the larger of the two, obviously so I could do the fertilizing. The problem was though, I kind of jumped on, drove the tractor up here, connected it up and did the fertilizing. I didn't think to bring the trailer or the forage wagon, I think it was, on the big one. So I kind of left that at the sell point, which was a bit silly, because why didn't I bring it back? So what I have done, I'm not going to lie, is reset that tractor after I finish using it. It is just there, let's sat back at the shop, because we'll pick up the trailer and then we'll drive the tractor back. I don't know why I did it. You do silly things when you're not actually recording and talking to yourself, apparently. So yeah, so bit short-sighted there from me, I guess, but we will grab that at some point. Now what I want to do, I mean, why not? We've got 105,000, so we're going to need to bring a tractor back here, move all of this stuff so we can put a nice shed in here. I know exactly what shed I want to go for. It is the same one that we showed a few episodes back. We will create some sort of pathway in here as well, like a roadway. But I just want to see this field here. Oh. So actually the crop isn't even in it. What did it have? Oh yeah, oats, I do remember. So that's kind of shown as harvested now, which is fine. Do you know what? It wouldn't have made any difference either way, because we still could have used that direct drill straight over the top of the crop anyway. But I don't feel like I don't have such a guilty conscience now that we haven't got to drill over it, so that's better, definitely. So I do want to look at this one, and I might just jump into it now and see how much it was. Where are we? Up here. So this one here, so 28,697. I'm just going to buy it before they plant something else. Lovely. So the yield potential there, look, it seems to have some sort of field data, which is kind of good, kind of strange though. It normally charges you for that, but it seems to tell you already anyway, so that's fine. But yeah, silty clay is probably not the best type of soil in the world, but for the minute, you know, we're going to get maybe 1 or 2 cuts of grass out of it. It should absolutely smash the silage, definitely. So that's good. So we just bought a second field. Pretty happy. And actually, in the map view it looks tiny. In this view, it's a decent size. It's a decent size. I wonder if this kind of odd bit here is part of it. I didn't actually check. I mean, it says it's O. Let me just check that a moment. Oh yeah, it is. Strange. I mean, I'm assuming under the snow maybe there's water there normally. That's kind of an odd little random bit of field. I wonder if I can potentially smooth that out, kind of landscape it. Make it a little bit easier to access. I'll have to look into that. We'll have a think about that. I tell you what though, that would be an ideal spot for pigs. Or maybe chickens. I am slowly being persuaded to go back to the chickens, and I mean, why not? It's easy money. But pigs are the priority. That could be a good little spot there, rather than crowd this area up too much. Okay, right, so to be honest, I've been talking a lot, so what I'm probably going to do is arrange for this tractor to come back, then at least I can move all of this equipment out of the way, and we'll stick a shed in. We'll start with that. That will be a good start. Now, just while I'm heading up slowly, I will do a little bit more talking. So what I have done in the meantime, before I loaded into this actual game save, I loaded this map up on a new save, just as a bit of a trial. And what I've tested is it is a mod. It's in Mod Hub. It is a Crossplay mod. It's the John Deere. It's like a mower. It looks very, very similar to the kind of the mower that's used for all the swathing videos, but it is a John Deere version, and it's a lot cheaper, and it does work. It actually does chop and swath various crops. The flax, I know, is one of the new ones. It does do it, and it leaves a nice swath, not a very big swath because the header size of it is pretty rubbish, but it does work. So I think the machine itself is only about 15,000. I'm not too sure what the header is, but that just seems like a no-brainer, to be honest, because it will chop grass, it will swath it automatically, so we can potentially get rid of the mower, we can potentially get rid of the rake, which may even just about pay for the mower. But we're also thinking ahead, we're thinking into the future. If we see a nice decent looking harvester come up in that shop, we need to snap it up and buy the swather to go with it, which I don't think is too badly priced, and then we can start kind of making the most of some of this map's best features. So I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, I'll meet you back at the farm. Okay, here we are back at the yard. Guess what I've done? The exact same thing as what I did before. I've just driven it all the way back, and I still didn't bring that damn forage wagon. I can't believe it. Honestly, I think I must have some sort of issue like a goldfish. Can't believe I just did that. But it doesn't matter. I set this to a worker, and I borrowed the store's telehandler quickly and reversed it onto the back of the trailer on the pickup truck. So that's fine. We'll just bring it back with that. I can't believe I did it again. It's just so ridiculous. But anyway, I'm just going to shift all of this equipment. The second John Deere should arrive any minute, although the AI worker does like to drive the absolute longest possible way back. So no rush for that one. But this is good. Now of course when we plant it, do a tiny bit of landscaping, all of this snow is going to disappear from this area anyway. So that will make it a bit easier to work out where we're going to be placing things. And then of course once we've done that, we'll make it look kind of nice. I don't know if I won't crop it, but I do get a little bit carried away when it comes to landscaping, so if I do take too long, I'll time lapse it instead. Otherwise this episode will turn into a 1 hour long episode, which by the sound of it some people won't mind, but I think an hour of just watching me trying to decide on which trees to put in place and make look pretty might be a little bit much. Okay, right, that's it, last thing. I am going to put the plough over here out of the way, just in case when I next pick it up it decides to plough a random patch of that grass area there. I don't really want it to do that, so we'll play it safe. I know sometimes it does go a little bit funny. So, pretty good, look. I think that bucket's going to be alright there, that's not going to be in the way. So, I reckon, get on with it. Just needs to keep an eye out for this AI worker, because he will start driving around in circles if I don't keep an eye on him. In fact, he's just on his way now. Okay, right, so yeah, if this is pretty quick, I won't time lapse it. If I get a little bit carried away, then I'll speed it up a little bit, and then whatever I'm talking about probably won't be relevant to anything anyway. Okay, there we go. I probably did just time lapse that a bit, because I didn't get too carried away, but I did do some finishing touches, so I've kind of made the roadway look quite pretty. And you know, you've got to make it look real, haven't you? A few little bushes here and there. This is alright, actually. Now that I'm walking down it, that's a wide enough track. Big things, if we ever get harvesters. This is a double-sided shed, so... But no, that's alright. It's got to be real, you know. People don't have unlimited space, do they? Now, I haven't actually opened up and looked at what's inside these sheds yet, because everyone I've gone to, we haven't owned, so this will be interesting. I like that you've got to open both doors separately as well. That is pretty cool. Okay, so it looks alright. It's obviously because I've had to free place it, it's not changed any of the landscaping in here. But that's fine, doesn't matter. Looks a bit more aged, I guess. We are going to have to get a chainsaw though at some point and just try and chop some of these limbs down on these trees. Hopefully it will allow us to chop some of those down. Or at least chop the whole tree. I like it. It looks pretty good. Just to me, that just looks quite appealing. I like that now. Something as simple as that just gives me the feeling that we've really progressed. We actually seem to have like a farmyard now. I like it. Right, let's just get some of this equipment inside of the garage. And then we'll get on with some actual farming. So I'm thinking actually, just while I'm moving this around, this rake is pretty good. It's also not really worth a lot. I think it only costs maybe $2,000 maybe. See, I said dollars then. I didn't say pounds. Yeah, but no, it's not really worth a great deal, to be honest at all. And the John Deere mower, which we will probably get, it's got quite a small header, so it leaves quite a small swath. And what I'm thinking is we could probably, assuming these rakes will work on a swathed crop, I don't know because I've not tried it, but we could probably make them a much more reasonable size using that rake, potentially. I'm not sure, but for a minute we'll keep it. The mower on the other hand, we're not going to need it. Once we buy the actual self-propelled one, we have no need for the other one at all. Yeah, this is good for size, this little track. It's good for size. To be honest with you now, I'm just thinking, we haven't moved a great deal into there, but we're going to need the seeder, and we'll probably need the fertilizer spreader immediately afterwards. We'll probably sell the mower. The water tank is alright there, in fact. Does it need any more water? Yeah. I mean, they look a little bit dry, don't they? Yeah. So it's going to need some more water as well. And to be honest, that little trailer kind of works there. Just what I'm talking, I will top that out. So for a minute, doesn't seem like a lot. All of that shed for 3 things. But we will get stuff moved into there in a minute. Oh yeah, plus we've still got the forage wagon I left at the shop. I did also say I'm going to create a track to this, didn't I? I'm going to do that at the moment. There we go. That's a little bit more satisfying. I didn't actually sculpt it out any different. I potentially will make it a little bit smoother as well, actually. It won't cost too much money. But I will wait until the snow's gone before I do that, because it does make it a little bit harder to see the angle of the ground when the snow's in the way. But that's pretty good. That works quite well. I've done that just in the right place. So we'll just do a couple of these a minute. Get this topped up. And then we'll get straight on to seeding our new field. Okay, this is going to be the real test. I've just moved that bucket out of the way there with the other tractor. So this is our widest bit of equipment, and it probably will remain the widest bit we have. And it kind of works. It gets through alright. The hedges don't appreciate it, but that's pretty good. So I don't think we'd have any issue getting a harvester and things down through there. That was a pretty good guesstimation right there. Anyway, let's get on with this. It's already set to grass. Should just work. There we go. Right, so I'm going to ignore that bit just in front of us there, that separate section. Just going to completely ignore it. Go around this field, go around the headland maybe a couple of times and just see if I can get away with leaving it on a worker. Then we'll follow up in the background with the other tractor and the fertilizer spreader. and just at least get a coating on it. I will just have to check though, before I get too carried away, that this field data is definitely there, because it would be a shame to spend all of the money without having that kind of important data first. So I'll have to look in a moment. This snow really doesn't help me figure out where the end of the field is. Okay, I've let the worker loose. I know it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be an absolute disaster. But it might save me a few minutes. So far so good. Oh dear, I can't believe I'm doing this. Anyway, right, let's get out of the way, just so we don't stop him from working. And just have a look at the field data. So precision farming. So actually, yeah, it does seem to have given us the score for it. No, it hasn't. It was too good to be true. Wow, this little grass field here needs a bit more nitrogen on it as well. No, so we don't own the field data. We seem to own the overall score details, but not the data. Now we do need to look into that. So, what is it going to cost us to buy the information? Do you know what, to be honest, 1,225, we need to do that sooner rather than later. And actually, we did see a few episodes ago, actually, they did line that field, so it's obviously kept the data, which is good, but it needs nitrogen, quite a bit of nitrogen. Now I do spy, with my little eye, he's already stopped. Brilliant. Good work, my man. You did a good job. What about that way? Can you do it that way? It's going to end up in that little lake there, isn't it? I know it. It's going to happen. See how he gets on. Okay, right, so again, let's go somewhere where he doesn't need to go to try and really, oh, he's moving. Try and make sure we don't get in his way and cause any more issues. So I'll just quickly jump into the shop menu, I guess. So I was talking about the mower, and you've probably seen it because when it first came out, everyone was downloading it, and it is this one. So it's only 14,500. Don't really need any extra configurations or anything. Pretty basic thing. And the header to go with it is 3,400, so not too bad. The disadvantage is it's only 4.5 meters wide. The current mower that we have, I want to say 6.5 meters wide, 6.2, so it is wider, but that of course doesn't swath, whereas the other one does. So really, to be honest, I don't see the benefit of it, other than it's the next piece of equipment heading towards the ability to swath crops and, you know, the new ones, the flax and things like that. So I do think it's something we need to do. Yeah, definitely. What was that mower worth? Wow, I mean that mower's worth £9,657. Be a little bit more if we drive it down to the shop. That's almost paying for the mower. I mean, it's just a no-brainer, I think. What's in the shop? Oh, well, that's cheap, isn't it? If it wasn't for the fact that we started with something, in my opinion, we started with the truck that looks better than that one. That would be a good deal. £12,000. That would be good. Interesting meadow roller, because we are doing a lot of grass, but that's not very wide. Does it say the width? Yeah, 4 meters. That's not very wide at all. For, I think rolling crops literally gives you 5% extra yield bonus. It's barely worth the effort. And he's stopped again. Oh, he's going. He is going. Okay, right, let's leave him to it for a minute. We won't watch him because he might feel under pressure. At least it doesn't look like he's been drinking today though. That's a good start. So what else have we got to do around here? Okay, just a few more subscribers of equipment that I forgot I put over here, so I'm just going to move those and mow while I'm thinking about it. I'll probably also move the kind of cedar grab or whatever you want to call it. I'll put that into the shed as well. And to be honest, there isn't really much more to do, so I'll probably take over from the worker who's doing the seeding. Just finish off that field. I think that would be good. We do need to bring the truck back, which of course has now got the forage wagon on the back, on the trailer. I will give that worker his due. He's not actually doing a bad job. Not really. Not as bad as I thought anyway. I've just jumped into this menu, not to kind of spy on what he's doing, but then we are paying him. But no, I've done it mainly because I just want to, I've mentioned it before, and I've not actually loaded them up and looked at the buildings, but these ones here, interactive productions. So this is something we will do at some point. Just because it's entirely interactive, you have to take pallets to it, you have to pick up the product. It's got a little bit of Hofbergman to it, I guess, if you ever played that map. But you have to actually get involved to do things, it's not all automatic. So it's probably something we will look at doing. And there's loads of different versions. I mean, I don't really know what some of these symbols mean, but I'm assuming that's mineral water and tomatoes, which we can grow. Make, maybe is it tomato sauce? Is it some like ketchup or something? Not too sure. No, it must not be, because this is ketchup production. Obviously, sugar's a little bit more difficult to get too involved with for a minute, unless I download some new greenhouse mods. But what's this one? Soybeans, and again mineral water. Is that soya milk? Not too sure. And that I have no idea. I'm guessing that's like squirty cream or something. But it's certainly something to consider. This is probably the easier one. Again, I can't really tell what those symbols mean. How do you actually sell them? Is there a selling? Oh, okay. There is a selling point which you would have to purchase, so we need to bear that in mind, because we would need to get that to go with it as well. That's quite a cool looking selling point, and I'm pretty sure, I'm thinking quite far ahead here now, I'm getting a bit carried away, but I'm pretty sure we own this roadway right up to the end. Yeah, so something like that would be quite cool. Pop it somewhere there on the way in. Nice little selling point. So yeah, we will look at doing that. And again, this little random area here is almost perfect really for things like that. Now, if we were to go for one of them, it fits in there quite nicely. Right, I need to jump back in and see what this worker's up to now. Oh dear. We've ran out of fuel. That is not ideal at all. So, back at the shop. As you can see, I loaded that up already. Would have been so much easier if I had super strength, but I only tend to use super strength with the lumberjack mod, and obviously that's not something I can activate. Just because of the whole crossplay only thing that I'm trying to do. So It was a bit of a pain, but it did connect to the back of the JCB, so I just borrowed it and reversed it up. Now what we need to do is go into the shop and probably stock up on some fuel, because we don't actually have any fuel. And this is maybe the second or third time now that fuel's been a bit of a problem. Oh, these must be to go with the other one we were just talking about, actually. So sticks, mineral water barrel, wooden box, red plastic box. These are all to transport certain things. Yeah, so that would transport the kind of products. That transports the bread. So I just like it. You have to come here, you have to buy these from the store, you have to take them back just to sell them. I like it. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a pretty good idea. So we will do that at some point when we get closer to having people join us for definite. Right, so I think maybe let's go for 3 barrels. Brilliant. We can just pop them on the trailer and then head back with it. Now, these are liftable, just as the mod. Probably not realistic, but they are liftable, so we shall lift them. Okay, all loaded up. So we'll head on back to the yard now. Okay, just pulling back into the yard now. The truck doesn't overly like towing quite so much weight. But we probably have overloaded it, to be honest. This truck has got the lowest horsepower setting that I could set, just because it was the starting vehicle. I didn't want it to be too overpowered. That wouldn't have been realistic. So when we look at restoring the truck, respraying it, making it look all nice and beautiful, we'll probably do a little cheeky engine swap as well and go for the next best thing. Okay, so refueling the tractor. We'll just finish this last bit ourselves. The worker didn't do a bad job though. I can't believe it didn't use that entire barrel. These tractors must have either a small fuel tank or those barrels never run out. Right, let's get on with this. Okay, brilliant. So it is done. It's finished. Just getting some of these little tiny bits that I missed. A lot of the seeders actually, even though they shouldn't do, kind of seed where the wheel width is as well. But this one doesn't. So I keep underestimating it and missing these little bits. So I'll just get them, because this is going to be the one and only time that we plant this field. Probably for a good 4 or 5 harvests. So we might as well do it properly. And there was one more little bit somewhere here, there you go. That will irritate me if I don't get it. So let's just get that. There it goes. Not bad. And it took about 200 litres of seed as well to do all of that. And that does feel like a pretty good sized field. Definitely. Right, so we'll just I would say put this back into its new home, but of course I've parked something in the way, and I've probably, yeah, also parked something in the way of that as well. Well done. I bought a new shed and I still just park things in random places. It's not going very well. Let's nice though. Right, I'll just jump into the field, I think. Time lapse a quick layer of fertilizer, get that done, and then we'll park everything up, get a nice looking screenshot of our slightly new yard, and then I'll probably end the episode. It must be about time. Now this probably isn't the right tractor to do this job, but it is working. So that was a pretty quick time lapse. It was also a pretty quick job for me to do. I am still getting quite a bit of lag around here. It's ever since that patch again, I'm sure of it. I've not changed any settings, but I've never had so many problems with screen rate and my refresh rate and stuff. It is a bit annoying at the minute, but it's fine. Now let's endeavour to actually park things away tidily. That would be pretty good. And I'll also conveniently position the equipment ready for a nice screenshot in a moment. Okay, great. Well, I think that's it, to be honest with you. So, I mean, what an episode. Isn't it so much nicer to start with quite a bit of money? I mean, quite a bit of money for us anyway. So good, I'm really happy. So we got a new field, we've seeded it and we fertilised it. We've also fertilised the other two fields, the existing ones, the ones that have kind of made all of this money so far. So a pretty good day, very, very successful day in fact. Got a new shed, which looks pretty cool. I quite like the look of that. I have kind of conveniently positioned these to try and make myself a decent looking screenshot, of course. But yeah, that's it, to be honest. We'll get on with probably selling this next episode, potentially looking at getting that mower as well, which is that kind of future proofing aspect of it. So we definitely want to be doing that. But for a minute, I'm pretty happy. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I will just say I'm not really one for this kind of whole subscriber thing, but you know, if you are watching and you've got this far, some of my videos I get 8 times the amount of views compared to the amount of subscribers I get, and it just would be nice if I got more people to share it with. So if you have got this far, you haven't subscribed, please do. But if you don't want to, it doesn't matter. But anyway, until the next one, cheers and gone.